Welcome to the Whimsical Workshop. I'm going to show you how to make a yo-yo. This is a yo-yo. It is a circle of fabric that is gathered and pulled together and gives you finished edges all the way around so you can then sew it and embellish things with it. One project we've done with it is this little yo-yo pumpkin. This was done for the David Textiles blog post, so you should be able to hop over there and check out the project. But today I'm going to show you how to make this yo-yo two different ways. The first way is the traditional way, and then the second way is using the Clover Yoyo Maker Tool. These yo-yo makers come in multiple sizes. This one will make a 1.5 inch yo-yo, which is what I'm looking for this project. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the traditional method, and then I will put down in the comments below where the video starts if you just want to see how the yo-yo maker is done. So first I'm going to use purple. And I'm going to use a contrasting thread so you guys can actually see what I'm doing versus matching thread, which is what I would recommend if you were actually sewing this for a project. Okay, so I'm going to thread our needle, roll the needle on the pad of your finger until the eye pops onto the steel beak of the Hummingbird Threader. Then you take the thread and there's a little hook at the end of the beak. You just catch the thread in the hook, you hold the thread taut as you wiggle it a little if the eye is really small, and there you go. It'll thread for you. That's the only way I've threaded needles in the last couple of years, because as you get older it gets harder to see the eye of the needle. Then we're just going to do a tailor's knot at the end. And a tailor's knot is you take the needle and you take your finger. The needle is vertical, your finger is horizontal. You put the thread across the needle like a plus sign, and you put the thread under your thumb. So I've got thumb, thread going horizontal, then needle going vertical, and then finger. And you take the thread and you loop it around the needle 3 or 4 times and slide that thread underneath your thumb. Then you push the needle up, and that will give you a tailor's knot. Perfect knot. And then I just trim off the edges. So now that we have our needle threaded, which is always the hardest part of every project. To do the traditional method, you have your circle and you're going to fold over the edge 1/4 inch, and you're going to take the needle and you're going to take it through the folded edge. And then you're going to go in and out. So I'm on the back, I'm going through the back to the front, or vice versa if you call that the back. So we bring that through, and then we go back through from the front to the back. And as I get to the end of my folded fabric, I fold some more, and now you can see I am just rocking it in, flipping the fabric over, and you want to try to keep your 1/4 inch seam pretty accurate. And I stitch, let me pull this through so you can see it. There it is with the contrasting thread. Now you can see why you'd want to match it if you're doing a real yo-yo. So I'm going about every 1/8 of an inch. I rock in and out, and I'm folding the edge over. It's not an exact 1/4 inch. You could take this to the iron and fold the edge over and press it, but it doesn't have to be exact. This is a very forgiving craft. It's a very easy hand project, but the one thing you have to watch is if you're on this side, you need to make sure you go back through to the other side. So if I were to have picked this up and gone like this, that thread would loop over the top, and we don't want that. I have done that a couple times, and luckily the fabric has still gathered for me, because this is basically a gathering stitch, but you really want to try to avoid doing that. So in and out, this is the easiest way. It's just to rock it onto the needle, fold, push onto the needle. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to finish this one. I'll show you what to do at the end. So as we're coming up on the end, we are going to go past our first stitch, 1 extra stitch. It is very important you do not go into your knot from the first stitch, or even the first stitch. You're just kind of going right next to it. I just do that for some security, just so I know I got all the way around the ring, all the way around the circle. So here it is, I'll smooth it out for you. There is the stitch. You can see it's already trying to cup up. So once you got that, do not knot it. You need to then gather it. So you want to use a good strong thread. I'm using Orifil 50 weight for this. And I usually just leave my finger in the middle and let it kind of come around my finger. And then I just sort of roll it between my fingers to get it nice and straight and flat. And then I tug at the last little bit. We tie a knot. And you're going to I do a sailor's knot, which means you go through the loop twice. It's just a little bit stronger, or jeweler's knot. Hold my finger there to make sure it knots in the place I want, and then I just take my needle through to the back and I trim it off that way. It's just burying the tails inside the yo-yo. So there is the traditional method to make a yo-yo. So the other way to do it is there's this cool tool from Clover, the Yo-Yo Maker. Again, they come in multiple sizes. I have several, 4 or 5 different sizes. And this one will make the 1.5, which is that. I cut my circle 4 inches, which is the same for the traditional yo-yo. And you want to there's this part here, and it has bumps out here on the edge. Those are going to be significant in a minute. And then it has a disc with the little teeth on it and these little lines that are raised. Those are also important. So what you do, before I put the fabric in, I want to show you how the tool goes together. Those lines line up with the bumps on the frame. And you'll see in here, that aligns this horseshoe shape with the dots that are on the dial. So once you align this line with that bump, all these little marks line up. And those are going to be our points where we go in and out with our needle. So it's a very low tech, easy tool, but it makes perfect yo-yos. So you take your square, you take your circle, you want to make sure that it's at least 1/4 inch bigger all the way around from the disc. It could even be 3/8 or 1/2 inch. It's just, it'll be a lot of fabric in the middle. So if you wanted like a poofy yo-yo, you could use a wider seam allowance. So I put this on the center of my fabric. I see where my line is. I have the frame with the dot at the top, and I just pop it in. And you can see there's the dot, there's the line, and I just push down, and you hear it snap at each of those points. Okay, so there's 5 of them. Once they're all snapped down, now you see the fabric is flayed over the disc. So then you flip this over. Now on the back of the tool, I'm using my finger to push the fabric down as I sew. And that'll become more important when you watch me do it, that will become clear why I do that as I start sewing. So again, you have your needle, you have it threaded, knotted, and I like to start on where one of the bumps are, but it doesn't matter. You can start anywhere on the circle. But you do want to go from the back to the front, and you want to come up on the right side of one of the horseshoes. And then we're going to go down the left side of the horseshoe and then come back up. So you always are coming up on the right side, always going down on the left side, because if you go down on the left side, or you come up, let's do it this way. If you come up on the left side, and I go down, I'm going to then have a thread over the plastic, and I'm not going to be able to remove my piece. So you always want to come up on the right side unless you're a lefty, in which case you will do the exact opposite of what I'm talking about. But for a righty, you come up on the right side of the horseshoe. It's not really a horseshoe, but it's kind of like horseshoe. Come up on the right. I'm folding the fabric under with my finger to make sure I'm going through both layers, and then I go back out on the left, travel underneath, come up through the right, go down with the left. Again, always making sure I got that fabric smoothed on the back. That's really the biggest thing. But these are so easy to do. Kids can do them. You can do them with like not any concentration really. So if you're doing it at a sporting event or watching TV or anything where you're not really paying attention, this is a fun, easy way. You could just start making yo-yos out of your scraps, and before you know it, you'll have hundreds of these. and you just sew them all together and make all kinds of cool projects, purses, wall hangings. We are using these for a 3D pumpkin that is for a blog post on David Textiles, so you can check that out. Hopefully by the time I post the yo-yo video, the pumpkin post on the David Textiles blog will be up. And we just keep going round and round. You see how easy this is? I'm not really struggling as much as I was with the traditional method. It just sort of holds everything in place for you. It folds the fabric under. And again, they're not real expensive. I got these on Amazon. I'll put that link below. But the yo-yos are just really, really fun. You'll find people become yo-yo addicts. So we're coming around. Got one more. So I've done, this is the last one. Same as I did on the traditional, I will come back over the first stitch, avoiding the knot, and come back up. Okay? Now I have it going all the way around, and we're ready to pop out our yo-yo and assemble it. So you take the hole, your finger through the hole, just pop that plastic piece out. Then you're gonna pop, just carefully roll this out. There we go. And just like the first yo-yo, we're going to pull this stitch together, and I kind of fold it in on itself as I pull. Let it kind of go around my finger a little bit. And then if you have any raw edges kind of tucked out, just pull it, push them in, and there we go. There is our yo-yo. So you can see it's a little faster, a little easier than standing there trying to fold over my edges. And that is how we make traditional and tool yo-yos. This one's a little, I guess if you straighten it out it's good. So there you go. There's 2 ways to do yo-yos. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you like and subscribe. You can leave comments below. Let me know other things you'd like to see. And I hope you go and have a blast making some yo-yos. Show me what you've made with them once you get them. And I apologize to anyone I get addicted to yo-yo making. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you like and subscribe below. You can find the Whimsical Workshop on our website, thewhimsicalworkshop.com, and that has all links to all of our other social media platforms. Thanks for joining us.